All right, as a beginning, I'd like to say thank you to all of you who have been answering the weekly posts for chapel. I'd like you to know that I've read each and every one of them, and I've responded to 99% of you. And those of you, I hope you're reading them, because I've asked some of you to come on down to see me, and most of you have not come to see me. So I don't know if you're reading my stuff, but I'm definitely reading yours. And just as a side note, okay, there's something called spell check. I know it's difficult, but it's called spell check. If there's a red line underneath the word, it's probably misspelled. Just as a side, spell check. All right, anyway, some of you are battling some hard things. Depression, hard times, challenges. Some of you, you've written to me, and I've written back to you of the challenges that you have been facing. And I wanted to give you a sermon today that may help you in addressing these things. Psalm 118, starting at verse 22. The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This was the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. In order to understand this, you first must understand what is a cornerstone. A cornerstone is the stone or the block on which all buildings are built. It is what all of the weight of the building rests on. It is the first stone that is placed. Therefore, it is the foundational stone of the building. So a cornerstone is the most important part of a building. You can have a building without a roof. You can have a building without the walls. But you can't have a building without a cornerstone. The cornerstone is the most important part and is often the first stone that is put down on the ground. Now that we have an understanding of a cornerstone, often we hear this verse and we think of churches, large buildings and cathedrals. I'd like to take that and push it to the side. Not that it's wrong, but that's not the focus of our sermon today. Instead, I would like to think of us as having a cornerstone on a large house. A house on which a family builds their life. Families live in homes, houses. In these houses, it is very important to have a solid cornerstone. Now that we have the context, let's begin. Cornerstones for houses. Families live in homes. Friends live in homes. When we build our house, the foundation must be solid. If the foundation for a house is not solid, no matter how great the walls are, no matter how great the roof is, the house will fall. All houses need a strong and solid cornerstone, and each one of us is a cornerstone in our own life. Each one of us is a cornerstone in our own lives. The problem then becomes, we are trying to be not cornerstones in our own houses that we are being built, but instead we are attempting to be mere blocks in other houses that we don't belong in. See, the difficulty then becomes, when we try to interject ourselves into other situations, we feel the loss and the pain of it because we didn't belong in that house. We didn't belong there. We were out of place and out of position. And often when we are out of place and out of position, God, that's why it says, this is the Lord's doing, because God will take you out of that house and move you into your own house. The transition can be painful. The transition can be painful. The transition can cost everything we have. The transition from being a mere stone in someone else's house to being a cornerstone in our own house can mean the burning down of the house that we came from in order to build the house that we will live in. Pain comes, much like every other house. Earthquakes, fires, tornadoes, floods, things beyond our control come to test the house. Sometimes we discover that the house has flaws, and when a fire comes, and when the earthquake comes, and when the tornado comes, it destroys the house. The destruction of the house can be so painful. If you've ever seen someone standing beside their home that has just been destroyed, you'll never see smiles and laughter. These people in that moment look devastated. The pain of losing not just their house, but their home and all that it represents sometimes brings them to their knees. Sometimes the pain of losing that house will bring you to your knees. In that moment, depression, sadness, pain, in that moment of loss, it feels like the world has opened up and swallowed us whole. But here's the good news. You can't build a new house without destroying the first one. Here's the good news. You can't build a new house without first destroying the first one. How would you know that your house could not withstand a tornado if your house wasn't first destroyed by a tornado? Then, when you build the house the second time, when you can build the house the second time, now you can learn from the tornado that hit your house the first time, and you can say, now I can build a house that can withstand a tornado. So then you say what? Now the flood comes, and the flood destroys my house, and I'm down in the dumps again, and I'm sad again. But guess what? I can then what? Rebuild my house even stronger. Now I know that when floods come, I can build a house that can withstand the flood. We have been called not to be mere stones in a wall, to be mere bricks, to be passed over, to be brushed aside. We have been called to be the cornerstones of our own houses. As you grow, you make mistakes. As you grow, you feel pain. As you live, you will lose everything. But the good news of the gospel is, as long as we have the foundation of faith, as long as we have the foundation of Jesus Christ in our lives, God will be able to build upon us a beautiful home. Ask anybody that's been around longer than 18 years. They'll say, I've loved and I've lost love. I've built houses and houses have fallen. I have gotten it all and lost it all many times. But one thing that has kept me solid in all of it is faith that God, not me, because in my own power I am weak. In my own power, I am weak. In your own power, you are weak. So if we count on ourselves, we will fall every time. That's why it says, the stone which the builders have rejected has become the chief cornerstone. Not by our doing, but what? This is the Lord's doing. And in that, God is able to build up stronger. So all of you that fight depression this morning, all of you that come here with heavy hearts and pains, all of you that are missing family, all of you that are hurting, all of you that are facing decisions that seem like a lifetime of weight upon you, I give you Jesus Christ. And I tell you, building a house is hard. It doesn't take a day. It doesn't take an hour. Truly building a house takes a lifetime. And you can only see the strength of the house once it's already built and destroyed and built again and destroyed and built again. You don't have to have it all figured out now. Heck, you can I asked a 75-year-old pastor, retired, last night, and he said, I don't have it all figured out. But what he said is, dear Dr. Gray, keep building your house. Keep working. Keep striving. Keep pushing forward. If we can do that, if we can do that, then we can step aside and let God build for us. Don't be afraid of tomorrow. Don't be afraid of the pain that you may be feeling now. All of this is only bricks that builds our house stronger. May God be with you. Amen.